it guys today. Guys understood? Tulasi. Hello. Tulasi, are able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'm following,
Linux
sir.
file system management tools, mkfs, mkfs.ext2, ext3 commands. So the Linux mkfs command can be used to format a Linux partition. So the partition is /sdb1, sdb2 or sdb. The Linux mkfs command allows you to format a partition on a number of different file systems. The Linux mkfs command also serves as a front end depending on the file system format. So if your format is standard ext3 file system, mkfs automatically calls the mkfs.ext3 command. The following command shows how you can create a using fdisk command to how to format the new partition using mkfs command. Okay, I will show you that. Yeah, so mks is ext2, ext3. There is a difference, guys. What? So ext2, the most futureful of a native Linux file system, but with no journaling support. So there is a journaling concept. Journaling and inode is nothing but a Tulasi. So if the data is deleted, I want to recover that data from the hard disk. So by using this ext2, ext3, ext4, so we can retrieve the data automatically. So there is a feature
Okay.
added between the is right. So ext3 file
Yes, sir.
system has all the features of the ext2 file system with the journaling has been enabled. Okay, journaling
Uh,
is enabled. Yeah, tell me, Katis.
yeah, I just want to make sure I understand. So the journaling here meaning is that when it gives you the possibility to retrieve a deleted information, correct?
Yes, 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 yes,
Okay.
yes. You understood? So before there is no journaling concept, right? There is no recovery of the data if deleted the data from the hard disk, right?
Mhm.
But so they introduced from the ext4 xfs, right? So resized fs is nothing but a stable journal file system. So we mounted. Will so we'll tell you guys. We'll tell you later. So you will get a
Okay,
confusion.
sir.
We'll get a
Okay.
confusion. So now you understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So ext2, ext3, and xfs. So these are. So how you can format this hard disk. So I want to create a partitions SDA1 and SDA2, right? So how can create a partitions on this hard disk? So by using which command, guys? By using fdisk command. What is that command? Fdisk command. So fdisk command is sbin command. So who will use this fdisk commands, guys?
Super user.
Super
Root
user.
user.
So who will create the partitions, guys?
Super user.
Super user will create the partitions only. Super user will create the partitions only. Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
Now you understood, right, guys? So now I will show you how to format the disk. So how to format the disk. Okay. So now you understand. So raw hard disk format, how you can change the format, and what are the naming convention for the hard disk. What is the naming convention, guys? /dev sdb /dev sda /dev sd sdc, something like that. So how you can check the only block devices? You can use the lsblk. How you can check the entire information, the df htr, something like that.
HT.
Okay, so the mounting. So this hard disk information will be mounted to the directories. So the mounting is a two types of mounting. So one is permanent mounting, the other one is the temporary mounting. So the permanent mounting and other one is the temporary mounting. Guys understood? So is it easy? Disk partitions. Tulasi.
It's it's okay, sir, but we have not done this.
So while watching the recording,
Sir, you spoke about doing partition.
partitions.
Sir, you were talking about doing the partition, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
So partition, we have to, super user has to first write fdisk
Hmm. Yeah, I
slash
will.
sbin. So they have to go inside sbin to start with the
No, no, no,
partitions?
no. So the sbin fdisk command is fdisk command is available in the sbin directory. So whatever the sbin directory, whatever the commands in the sbin directory, right? So that commands will be executed by the which user?
Super user.
So while teaching the file system hierarchy, okay. What is that?
Hi.
So Linux file system hierarchy. Guys, understood?
Sir, you told like we have to, like a normal user, they have to go to the SPEN in order to execute this head disk command.
No. We don't want to. So right, command will execute ls command, pwd command. How you are executing those commands? So those commands are available in which directory? So the Linux file system hierarchy. Okay. So in the Linux file system hierarchy. So what is this? This is a bin directory. Okay. And this is the sbin directory. So bin directory contains what it contains?
Commands,
and
user
sbin
command and super user
commands only, whatever it may be. Bin contains only
commands.
cd
Commands.
slash bin. cd slash bin. So I'm going to this folder directory. Yeah, you see. So these all are the commands. Whatever the commands we are executing, right? That commands is available. That commands is available in under this bin directory. For example, ls, right? Pwd. For example, we are executing the pwd command, right? So this is the pwd command. Under ls command. What is that command? ls. So you see ls command. Okay. Cat command. vi command. All these commands are available under the bin directory. So fdisk command. Did you check fdisk command is available in this bin directory? Did you see the fdisk directory? fdisk command, fdisk file? No, right?
No.
cd, I'm going to sbin directory. Okay. Did you check here? Is that fdisk command is available here? So what this is? So where it is? This fdisk command is available under the sbin directory. So who will execute this sbin commands?
Super user.
User.
Root user.
Root user can execute both bin and sbin commands, but a normal user execute only the bin commands, right? So normal user.
Sir, some commands are in different colors. Some commands are highlighted with some colors. Is there any difference, sir?
No, yaar. Don't so don't go to other. Okay.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah. So fdisk is, for example, fdisk -l. L is nothing but it will show the list, the partition list /dev. So how many hard disks are available here?
Two.
Only one hard disk is available.
One hard disk, two partitions.
Two partitions, right? You see here. So /dev SDA /dev SDA1 SDA2. So what are the blocks available and the ID of the ID of the blocks and a system of the blocks, file system of the blocks. So I will tell you. Okay. So I am trying to execute the same command as a normal user. Okay. Hari's user is a super user or a normal user?
Normal user.
Normal user. So normal user will execute the sbin commands.
No.
What it is showing?
If this cannot be open.
Permission
Denied.
denied. you don't have a permission to use the execute the fdisk command because of you are a normal user. The sbin commands will executed by only the root user. So the sbin commands will executed by only the root user. The bin commands will executed by the root user and the normal user. Because of super user can do anything. Now you understood?
Yes, sir.
Got
So
that?
one more question. So using fdisk, you can do the partition also, right? Like what's the command?
Yes. So this is a list, right? I want to create a partitions. So
Yes.
before creating the partitions, we need to add the hard disk also, right? So let's check, is there any new hard disk is available? LSBLK. You see, so only one hard disk is available and it's already created the partition and attached to the directories. There is no new hard disk to create a partitions. So if you want to create a partitions, before that we need to add the hard disk, right? So here only one hard disk is there. So that's the reason we are unable to create the partition for another disk. Now I want to add another hard disk. So I'm shutdowning the mission, guys. So we cannot add on fly. So we can add on fly on the VMware, the real time, but OVM, there is no specialty to add on fly. Okay. Yeah. So go to settings. You added a 20 GB hard disk space for to installing the OS, right? This 20 GB, right? This is the 20 GB, this 20 GB SDA. So to install the CentOS 7. Okay. So this is a 20 GB hard disk. I want to add another hard disk. So here you can click here, add a optical drive, add a hard disk. Click here. Next, you can create a. So can you create a hard disk, something like a video, virtual box disk image? Next, how much you want? I want 20 GB or I want 30 GB. Okay. So this is the 30 GB hard disk I'm attaching. So now how many hard disk attached in this OS?
2.
So this hard disk contains how much GB? The
GB.
volume size is 20 GB. Now I added a new hard disk that is 30
30
GB.
GB.
This hard disk name is guys, SDA. The second SDA. This hard disk is second hard disk. SDB. Very good. So if I create another hard disk, so what is that? The name is
SDC.
I'm creating another hard disk, for example, only just 10 GB.
So we can create as many as we want.
Yes, we can create
Or is there a
based on the resources. Based on the resources only, right?
Is that the resources? Do you mean space availability?
Yeah, space available. Space is nothing but a storage. If you have a more storage, you can add a number of hard disks. Okay.
Okay.
Now you
Okay.
understood? Now I created
storage
a
server, right?
storage means hard disk.
In the CentOS server, if we have the hard disk storage
Space. Yes.
those are resources.
Yes. Okay.
We have installed the server only, right? To connect to it. Okay.
Yes. So we added the 3 hard disks. One is SDA, SDB, SDC. Okay. Now I am starting the mission. These 30 GB, 10 GB hard disk are attached to any directory?
Yes.
No, still now.
Or not yet. Not yet. No?
Not yet. Very good. So if you want to attach, so if you want to attach this hard disk, so what you need to do? For example, you added a raw. You added a raw new to raw to new hard disks. Okay, the numbing convention should be already one is there, right? SDB, SDC. Okay, so what you can do? Step 1. Step 1 is nothing but a
MKFS.
no. First we need to partition. We need to create a partition, right? So how you can create a partition? Partitions by using fdisk command. Yeah, so I created two partitions like SDB 1 and SDB
2.
2. So for example, SDB 1 is 10 GB, SDB 2 is SDB 2 is 20 GB.
10? Oh, 20.
That is there, right? I created a 2. So 20 GB. Now partition is done, right? So partition is done.
So
So
did you create a 20
But-
GB and a 30
Yeah.
GB?
20
How
GB
much
and
was SDB general? I thought SDB has 20 GB total. So if you do a partition, it's gonna be 10, right?
I will show you. 1 second. Yeah. So the second hard disk is how much space?
Oh, 30. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
30.
Yeah, got it now.
So I created it two partitions. One partition for 10 GB, another partition is 20 GB. Okay.
Mhm.
So what you can do? So now you created the partitions by using fdisk command. Okay. But still these are in which format? So these all are the raw hard disk, right? So these are in so still these are in which file
Null
system
file
type?
type.
Null file system.
Null file type.
Null
What
file.
you can do? You want to change from
Convert it.
null to convert.
To
Linux.
ext.
Yeah, convert from null to ext4 or XFS. Okay,
XFS.
because of journaling is available from ext4. So how you can convert mkfs dot
FS.
ext4 slash dev
Slash
sdb1.
SDB1.
The second mkfs dot ext
XFS.
or xfs
Dev
slash dev
SDB2.
sdb2.
2.
Right. So now you converted from null to
Null.
Linux.
yeah, Linux
To
knows which
Linux.
format.
Linux
So
file.
Linux knows only ext2 and ext3, ext4 and xfs, right? Yeah, you created the partition, then you converted from null to
ext4
ext4 and
XFS.
xfs. Next, guys, step 3. So what is that? So we need to create a directory, right? So I'm creating a directory as applogs. One is applogs, the other one is and the other one is dba logs. For example, I created a 2 directories. Okay. For example only, guys. And need to attach. Attach means these directories to that space. Okay, the space or storage, right? You created a two directories, right? I want to attach means mounting, right? Again, mounting is 2 types. Mount is 2 types. So mount is 2 types. What are those? So one is
Temporary
mounting.
and permanent.
temporary mount, and second one is permanent mount. So temporary mount is nothing ante while running the server. So while running the server, if you mount the particular storage to directory, it will erase or unmount if it's restarted the server. Guys, understood? So what is a temporary mount? So temporary mount is while running the server. The server is running now. Okay. So this time if you mount it, again if you try to reboot it, it automatically unmount. Unmount is nothing but a erase. The mount point will automatically erase if you reboot the server. So that is nothing but a temporary mount. So permanent mount. If the server rebooted, again the mount point will mount. So how you can add? We can add it under the some other place. I will show you. Okay. So this temporary mount. So how we can mount by using the temporary mount? How you can mount by using the temporary mount? By using the temporary mount, the command is mount command. Mount source destination. So what is the source and destination, guys? What is the source? Mount. So source is nothing but a space, storage. What is the storage slash dev? SDB
SDB
1.
one.
So this storage is attached to which directory? Applog.
Upload
Okay. Now Applog contains how much GB? 10 GB
10
space.
GB.
Okay. Again,
Mount
slash
dev
the
SDB2
SDB2 will mount it
slash
to
DBA
DBA
logs
logs.
with a
So
20
this
GB.
contains 20
20
GB.
GB.
Okay. So when you reboot the mission, these mount points will automatically unmount it. Will automatically unmount it. So what is a permanent mount? So in the file /etc fs tab file. So what is in this file? In this file, if you add the
Hardware.
information about the storage and file system storage comma file system type and destination means directory. If you provide these in the fs tab, so it automatically whenever it's reboot. Whenever it's reboot, it automatically mount it again. Guys, understood? So the permanent mount and the temporary mount. So temporary mount is nothing but while running the server, if you mount a particular storage to a directory, it will unmount if it's restarted the server. So in this file, which file /etc file, if you add the information about the storage file system and the directory, so it will automatically mount whenever it's reboot the mission.
Oh.
Okay, it's reboot the mission. And so if you want to, I want to unmount the mount point. What is the command? Umount. What is the command? Umount under the mount point. For example, applogs. So I want to mount it all. You can use the -a. Mount -a. It will mount all the mount points are available in the /etc fs tab. fs tab. So I don't want to mount while rebooting the server that mount point. For example, app logs. I don't want to mount this app logs. So you can comment this in the /etc fs tab entries. So while rebooting, it will not mount. It will not mount. Guys, understood? So this is nothing but a partition. I will show you guys. No worries. Yeah. Yeah. Now you understood, right? Okay. Yeah. So now we have added how many hard disks, guys? So if you want to restart the mission, just use the restart session. Root Red Hat REDHAT. Yeah. Guys. So if you execute the lsblk, what is this lsblk, guys?
List of blocks.
List of block devices.
Yes.
Yeah. So before you, if you use the lsblk, is it showed the new ones? No. So now we see the new hard disks. Now you see the new hard disk. So whatever we attached in the server. So we attached in the server two hard disk. One is SDB, the other one is SDC. SDB, SDC. You see, so these hard disks are created as partitions, and these partitions are attached to /boot directory. This SDA is attached to something like this is attached to / this is attached to swap. Guys, you see, so disk is a part and LVM. Disk is part and LVM. Part and LVM are the standard partitions and LVM partitions. What are those?
What the?
So partitions are two types. One is standard partition and LVM partition. What is that? Standard and LVM. So if you create a partition, as a standard, so we cannot extend. For example, app logs how much GB? 250 GB. I want to increase another 100 GB on the app logs. So if you create this partition as a standard, we cannot reduce and we cannot extend. We cannot reduce and we cannot extend. If you create this partition as a standard partition, so we cannot extend, we cannot reduce. If you create as a partition as a LVM partition, so we can extend the partition, we can reduce the partition. Okay. Now we understood? So partition type is standard and LVM. Standard and LVM. Standard having a standard have, so it will end in 10 minutes, guys. After that, you guys can join again. Yeah. Standard partition. So ID is different. LVM ID is different. Something like a swap ID is different. Okay. So we need to set the ID of the partition type. Standard partition, something like 83. LVM partition, 8E. So system ID is the partition ID is, so something like if it is a LVM, the partition ID is 83. 8E. 8E. If you use this partition as a standard, so we can use the 83. Okay. If you create a, guys, so funda, you guys remember that if you create a partition as a standard partition, we cannot extend, we cannot reduce. If we create a partition as a LVM, we can extend and we can reduce. You guys can remember that points. Okay. Yeah. So SDC, SDB and SDC. I want to create a partitions on these two hard disk. What is the command? Katiz. What is the command to create a partitions on that SDB?
FSDs.
Very good. fdisk /dev SDB. Yeah, here you see. So welcome to fdisk. The changes will be remain in the memory only until you decide to write them. So be careful before using the write command. Okay. Device does not contain a recognized partition table. So building a new DOS disk label with the disk identifier. Okay. So M is the help. What is the M? M is the help, guys. So something like so M is nothing but a print the menu. So yes, print the menu. P is nothing but a print the table, partition table. You showed right fdisk -L. So same way it will show if you use the right. Is there any partitions created for this disk, guys, till now? No. This is a new hard disk, right? So yeah. So if you want to add a partition, add a new partition, what is the command? What is the option you need to use? -N. -N is the new partition. So how you can write the save the partition, write a table to the disk and exit. Okay. T is nothing but a change the partition system ID. Change the system partition ID. So how you can change the system partition ID? By using T symbol. So by default, it will create as a standard partition. So if you want to change it to LVM, you can change it by using a system ID. That partition system ID. Okay. Yeah. I want to create a 2 partitions for SDB. So what is the what is the option to create a partition, guys? N. Just execute the N button. N is nothing but a new, add a new partition. Okay, N. So those are the primary or extended. By default, it is a primary. So if you just select it by default, it is a primary. Yeah. So partition numbers, how many we can create? Just we are trying to create a SDA1, SDA2, but you can create a SDA1, 2, 3, 4. Up to 4 we can create it. Okay. Up to 4 we can create it. I want to create just only 2 partitions, for example. So if you are not giving any option, by default it is taking first. I'm creating a table, partition table 1 SDB1, and first sector and last sector. First sector you just click the enter. In the last sector, so how much GB of space you can give? You see plus size. How much GB? For example, 10 GB. You can give in the last sector 10 G. Last sector 10 G. Partition 1 of type Linux and size 10 GB is set. So if you want to write it, you can use the write W. Yeah. Right. It write it and exit. So you see, write a table to disk and exit the table. So now we again go to the fdisk /dev SDB. Okay. Yeah. So M is nothing but a print. You guys know, right? So just P is nothing but a print the table. So before print, there is no partitions created, but now one partition is created with the SDBA1. So this is the start block, end block. This is the block. This is a 10 GB we created. What is the ID created? System ID is 83. And the system type is Linux. By default, I already told you, right? So what is the partition by default? Standard. Standard is nothing but a Linux. What is the ID of the Linux? 83. Standard partition is 83. Okay. So if you want to change the partition ID from 83 to standard to LVM, you can use. So -T is the option. -T. So selected the partition 1 hexa code. If you execute the L, it will shows, guys. So 83 is a standard partition. 83. 8E is nothing but a LVM. 82 swap. 82 is nothing but a swap partitions, guys. So you want to change it from Linux to LVM, you can use 8E. For example, if you use the 8E, you see the change type of the partition from Linux to Linux LVM. So Linux to Linux LVM. Okay. So P is nothing but print. Now you see it is changed from Linux, it is changed. Yeah, so before it is 83 Linux, now it is 80 Linux. The changed from standard partition to LVM partition. Okay, so now I want to create another partition. You can press enter N, a primary P, default. Now you see the second partition will create. So the second partition, first sector you can leave it. In the last sector you can give the plus size 20 GB. Okay, so W is nothing but a
W.
write, save it. Again you can check it. fdisk, P is nothing but a print. Okay, so how many created? So two partitions created, SDB1 and SDB2. Okay, yeah. So W, now LSBLK. Yeah, it's created a partitions SDB1 and SDB2. SDB1 having 10 GB, SDB2 having 20 GB. Okay, 18 means so that sectors will take by default, so it will get the maximum. Okay, yeah. Now, so these partitions are mounted to any directory? No, I want to mount this yeah, what step 1 is done, right? So then I want to convert from null file system to ext4 or xfs, right? So how you can convert? mkfs.
MKFS. EXT.
Yeah, you see it's converted. Next, SDB 2. So I will try XFS, another file system. XFS. Yeah, it's created, right? Now let's check it. So what is the next? What is that? You can create a directories mkdir slash applogs mkdir slash dba logs. Okay, yeah. So directory is created and partitions also created. What we can do? So we can do the
Mounting.
mounting. So mounting will be temporary mount and permanent mount. So first we'll try it with the temporary mount. So what is the temporary mount command? Mount. So the hard disk, the storage information and the directory information. Okay. So what is the command? Mount /dev
Dev slash
SDB1
SDB1
to
slash
applog.
upload.
Okay. You see df-ht. Yeah. Is it mounted? Is it mounted? You see
Yes.
LSBLK. Yeah, SDB1 is attached to applogs. Is it before? Is it there?
No.
No. Now it is attached, right? So then I want to attach the other space SDB to
Two.
slash DBA logs df-ht. Sorry. Yeah. So now it is attached SDB1 and SDB2 with 9 GB and 19 GB. Now you understood? So this is a temporary mount. So now I am trying to reboot the mission. Init 6. So if you reboot the mission, again the mount point will mount it or not. While running the server, if you mount the particular storage to the directory, it will